guys. Just had a bite off the rod that was positioned down here, just off the reed line. Epic scrap. And I've got the first fish of the year for me in the net. And it's a mirror, which is quite unusual for this lake. It's mainly commons in here, but yeah, brilliant. Happy days. Here we go, guys. First carp of the year for me. And it's a lovely fish. I haven't weighed it. It's got to be getting up towards 20 pound, I reckon. It's an absolute belter. I don't know, maybe 16 to 20 pound, I'd say, something like that. It's a cracking fish, very plump. I might weigh it in a second. Probably took about an hour on the joddy and it ripped off. So yeah, happy days. And a mirror, which is quite rare in this lake. So yeah, awesome. What a start to the year. Happy days. Get him back. Well, there we go then, guys. So first carp of the year for me, and yeah, it's come on my second session. So and the first one was only really a short one, so I'm proper happy with that. Obviously there is a good stock in here, but the lake is relatively deep in places, which means that the fish, although they are woken up, they have properly woken up, they're sitting very high in the water in this deep water. So people are fishing rods out on the bottom and they're not getting any bites. That one came right off the reed line. The sun's been smacking on it for the last couple of hours. Seen a couple of fish showing there and just flicked a choddy down there. And yeah, interestingly, very light baiting. You don't need to go mad at this time of year. Probably 10 baits around it. I watched a video from Adam Pennin. Anyone who's watched any of Pennin stuff knows how knowledgeable that bloke is when it comes to catching carp. And yeah, he'll fish small quantities of bait even all the way through the year. So don't think you have to whack in 100 boilies to try and get a take. Even on these well-stocked lakes, it's better off to feel your way in and see how quickly you can get a bite. And that's come in the first hour with about 10 or a dozen baits. So I can put a dozen more in now, same spot, and we'll see if anything else happens. There's the chod. Obviously a nice, it's a nice sail hook bait, that one. Fishing it running as always. The only different thing I'm doing here is I can't fish it totally slack because I'm fishing alongside that reed bed. So obviously I'm fishing it just enough so that you've got a bit of a drop in the line, because obviously with chods you don't want to fish a mega tight because you could be lifting your lead core and stuff off the bottom, and the chod could be sitting really awkwardly. So you don't want to be fishing a mega tight, but I'm fishing the clutch fairly tight, and I've just got a little drop on the bobbin, enough for the last sort of, I don't know, 12 foot to sink. So yeah, and that one just runs up and down. That's what I called it on. I've scaled down all my kit this year and I've got hardly any pop-ups. Anyone who knows me knows that I bring far too many pop-ups with me. So I've got a couple subs, that's Manila and Cell in there. Got some Mulbs, which are obviously my visual ones. I've got one of those out on the left-hander, which is in open water. And yeah, that's it. So yeah, there we go. 17 pounds 6 that fish was. I did weigh it. And yeah, what a great start to the year. Let's see if we can go catch another one. So yeah, this is the kind of spot you want to be looking for to fish in the spring. Obviously it's still quite cold, water temperature is still very cold, and the carp are going to be looking for any warmth they can get, and reeds offer that. Especially today, got a wind trickling in here, even better. Carp will be looking to get on the end of winds at this time of year, unless they are really cold, in which case get on the back of them. And I've seen fish show right in the reeds, so they are right in there today. And I mean, historically on here, this has always been a good spot for me. It's where I caught the fish just about here, in this little gap here. And yeah, like I say, no need to bait these sort of areas heavy. They're in here having a mooch. They're not really looking to be feeding, but if they come across some food, they will of course have it. So yeah, dozen baits fairly accurately over the rig in there. And yeah, the other rod is just out in open water. And another thing I would recommend it probably any time of year really, but especially in the spring and in the winter. Cast it showing fish, and I've seen a fish show out here pretty much half an hour after setting up, and I've put a rig out there. Haven't actually had a bite on it yet. Again, 20 odd baits around it, no more than that, and I won't top that up. That'll just be there until that goes, and if I see another fish I can always move and cast it that too. So yeah, take it easy, keep your options open. That's my advice for the spring, and yeah, hopefully you can reap the rewards. Fingers crossed I can get another one on this session too. Where are you going, you moron? Don't come to my stuff, you funny little chap. There's big rats here, they'll sort you out. Oh my god. Well chaps, fish number 2 in the net. Happy days, same rod, and yeah, happy days. Let's get him sorted out, get a few pickies and get that rod back out. Well guys, fish number 2, and yeah, so another double figure fish. Lovely common this time. This is more how I remember Tockenham. These lovely long hard fighting commons. So this one's probably, I don't know, 12 to maybe 14 pounds. Lovely plump belly on him. Put an epic scrap, didn't you mate? It got me in the reeds, got it out, got me right under the platform, got me in the other reeds. So yeah, brilliant. Not long after baiting up that one, I had a funny occurrence, and yeah, a funny occurrence which I think was a liner, a really strong liner. It pulled the rod tip right round, and the bobbin slammed up, but I just picked up the rod and there wasn't any resistance there at all. So yeah, so I round in the rig, recast it, and probably it's been out there 15 minutes, another dozen or so baits around it, and it's belted off. So happy days, 2 fish. Spring's here, let's get out carp fishing. Happy days. Well, there we go then guys. So yeah, session's not gone too badly, to be honest. Seeing as it's still relatively cold, the pressure's pretty high. A couple of fish, I'll take that. I know in the summer you're looking at up towards 10 fish in a session, or in a day session on here. It can be that prolific, so I'm not kidding myself. I'm not rewriting the history books or anything by catching a couple of doubles, but you know, it's nice to get off to a good start to the year. Yeah, it's been quite interesting. It's all coming off this reed line rod, nothing in the open water, and it's partly what I found last weekend when I came on here and it was really busy, and I just had to cramp in anywhere, and couldn't really get on the fish. But no one was catching, and the fish were quite visibly in the upper layers, out in the middle. And speaking to a few of the guys, I mean, it does drop to like anywhere nearly up to 20 foot in places that a couple of people I spoke to reckon out there. So if you're fishing on the bottom in that sort of depth and they're up near the surface, you ain't gonna get a bite. So, and thinking about it, I didn't actually plumb the depth last weekend. I fished zigs, and I fished them as high as I thought roughly what the depth was from feeling the lead down, and I fished them at about 12 foot and I didn't have a take, so maybe I was miles off. Yeah, that was right over in the other corner, but yeah, all off the reed line rod today. And yeah, like I said, I had a strange sort of occurrence probably 20 minutes or so before that one. before that fish happened, and the bobbin slammed right to the top. Tip was bent round like that, and I thought, oh, I'm in. It was quite slow and steady, and then I just picked up the run. There was just nothing, so I would imagine that was a big liner from a fish moving through. Wind's trickling in here again now. It has been all day. So yeah, we might get another one before we go. I mean, like I say, I'm happy with 2, but if we can get a 3rd, that even better. There are a few 20s in here now, so if we can get a 20, that would be what a start to the year that would be. So yeah, happy days. It's a lovely swim, this as well. I've got my mat and my sling drying off in the tree, just a little notch where you could hang it up. And yeah, I can keep my stuff out the mud up here. My pod's down there. Like I say, I'm not walking off, I'm on it. Like when I get a bite, I'm on it, so I'm not risking my rod flying in. Don't worry about that. I've fed a few floaters. I've tried a few floaters because last weekend on the Sunday it was evident that once it got to about 5-6 o'clock in the evening, the fish were all over the surface. It was very different conditions. It had been sunny all day, and the wind just died off, and the fish were just there, and they were quite happily taking. There must have been a hatch or something, and they were taking it all. So I brought some floaters. They haven't actually worked, but the floater gear isn't going to come out the car now until probably till November. It's such a good way of catching fish. And oh. Now that again was an absolutely savage liner. I thought I was in for a second then. Bobbin's just gone boom straight to the top, and then it's all just come straight back down. So there's fish in the area, see, and they're picking up these boilies. I'm not putting in loads, 15 to 20 at a time, just enough in I don't know, probably 10-yard square, something like that. So yeah, maybe we have got another chance. Hopefully we do. I hope that wasn't an aborted take. That's obviously possible as well. That looked a lot like a liner to me. But yeah, good thing is if it is an aborted take with chods, it will lie back down flush and it'll be ready to fish again. If nothing happens in about an hour, I may be tempted to recast it. Obviously fishing fairly close to reeds, you don't know if your hook's been ditched in a bit of reed or something, but I'm pretty confident that was a liner from the way the bobbin has returned back to where it was. So yeah, fingers crossed, we might get another one. Right, happy days. Right then guys, so a little bait tip inside this bucket. Oh, and I'm in. Well guys, I've just wound the open water rod in, and well, what can I say? I know carp like naturals, but that is a little bit ridiculous. I don't think we were ever going to get a bite on that, but that is a lot of mussels. Look at that. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. I mean, one's closed around my hook point, or I've picked it up, but yeah, there's a big mussel bed out there. Look at that. And yeah, I've got most of them here. Well chaps, what a truly bizarre last 15 minutes I've had. Obviously, so I was making that video to you guys before. The rod is absolutely hooped round, rattled off. It's actually dragged the pod forward and tipped the pod over. I've managed to get down and I've hooked it. Fish is on. It's in the reeds, and I've actually managed to get it out of the reeds. Started coming, and I can feel it, but it doesn't feel like there's something quite right. You know what I mean? When it's the line or something is caught on something, and I've just felt a big head shake like that. Everything's come back, so it's managed to ditch the hook and everything. So check the hook. Hook's perfectly sharp. It's just that's how they manage to do it, isn't it? They find these obstacles and they can manage to shake these hooks out. So yeah, bit of a pain. But another take, put some more bait on that rod, and then I thought, well, I'm getting so many takes on the right-hander that I need to do something about this left, because they're not a million miles apart. You would think carp would be fairly in the same sort of area. And then I've wound in the left-hand rod, and I've got about, well, you saw for yourselves, God knows how many mussels are on there, and one of them's closed around the hook, so I was never ever going to get a bite on that. Truly bizarre. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. I don't think I've ever had anything like that. I've had mussels closed around my hook bait before, but never that many, and never in a huge group like that. So yeah, it's good signs that the carp have got plenty of natural food anyway, isn't it? So yeah, but things are looking up. Obviously we've only got about an hour left, and the fish seem to be up for it, so I've kept up in the feed a little bit more on both rods, so another 20 baits on both. I know I didn't have a bite on the left-hander, but I'm just keep putting baits on that. That could be why I didn't get a bite on the left-hander, because that, however long it's been like that, I do not know. Cast that one out again, felt it down, and it is, you have got a fair bit of depth there, certainly more so than what you've got on the right-hand rod. So that could be influencing things. Whether that right arm rod goes again or not, hard to say how many carp could be in those in that reed bed, but they certainly seem to like coming out and investigating those boilies. And obviously that, what happened before where I said, oh, I've had that liner when I was speaking to you guys before, that obviously was a liner, or if it was an aborted tape, my rig was still fine because it's rattled off again after. So yeah, fingers crossed next time it goes we can actually land it. I don't like losing them, but at least we haven't lost any tackle, which is the main thing. And I'd rather the pod get dragged round than the fish get right in there and we have to pull for a break. It was only just in, like I said, and I managed to, what felt like, get it out. You could see the line going in, and it was only just on the edge of it. So yeah, happy days. Right, cool, all a bit chaotic. Right, let's hopefully it goes calm again for about at least 10-15 minutes so we can get our thoughts back, and then fingers crossed it starts again. And the buzz of carp fishing, eh? Happy days. Right then guys, so let's get back to the bait tip I was going to give you before that carp rudely interrupted us. And yeah, basically these are the boilies that I use. It's a mixture of sticky manila, dynamite monster tiger, red ammo, and dynamite normal monster tiger, all sweet baits. And yeah, it just means I've got a nice mixture of sizes and smells in there. And what I do, they are shelf life baits, and yeah, some of you may frown on using shelf lives, and to be honest, I used to be in agreement with you. I used to hate using shelf lives, but these days, because I don't know when I'm getting out, and obviously I do so much different styles of fishing, it's just easier to have shelf lives. And what I do is, these are actually probably coming up to 6 or 7 months old now since I got them out of the bag. And yeah, they've been glugging in this bucket, and they are glugging in all sorts of liquid, and I just think it enhances them so much. That's the trouble, that's the issue I had with shelf lives, is that because they don't break down like or at least they don't break down very quickly like a freezer bait, it's how do you get the attraction out of them? Obviously you're getting visual attraction, but I want all sorts of attraction like leaking out of them. So they're soaking in oils. I've got some tiger nut oil in there. I've got some smart liquid, smart liquid in there. What else have I got in there? I mean, it really is. I've got some hemp oil in there as well. And yeah, it just all soaks into the boilies over time, and you just if you just turn them over on each session. And yeah, what happens is eventually, I've got cloudy manila liquid in there as well. That was the other thing I've got in there. And yeah, what happens eventually is obviously the baits go really, really soft, like a bottom bait, and you just crumple them up, and they're perfect. They really are perfect. Go out nicely with a stick, full of attraction, which is going to leak out into the water. I never feed loads. I think that's one of the other things that you'll notice when you use shelf life baits instead of freezer baits. Freezer baits, I always feel like you can get away with feeding a lot of them. I know when I used to use the cell all the time, I wouldn't think twice of putting in a kilo, which is a lot if you're on a budget. But with these, I think something like that over a spot, perfect. That's all you need. And yeah, so there's a little edge for shelf life boilies. Hopefully you can use it in your own fishing, catch plenty of fish. Well, here we go, guys. Fish number 3 in the net, and I tell you what, that is a mega long fish, and it fought like an absolute demon. I mean, I'm going to leave it in the net for a minute because that was absolutely epic. What a fight! Jesus, happy days. Well, here we go then, guys. So this will be why it fought like a demon, because it's the biggest one in the session. It's 19.5 pounds. Look at that for a brew of a carp. Lovely. What a start to the year. 3 fish, couldn't ask for anything more. This one is just built like an absolute steam train. Look how long it is. It's ridiculous. Yeah, absolutely lovely. It's got a few scars, a few battle scars, ain't you, buddy? But yeah, beautiful. Look at that. Awesome stuff. Let's get him back. Maybe even the chance of another one. Obviously, I'm buzzed now regardless, so let's just get this fish back. Well, guys, we are losing the light rapidly, and yeah, what a session, you know. 3 fish, 1 lost. I'm not going to be complaining with that, especially with 2 lovely upper doubles, a 17 and a 19 common and a mirror. The 19 had been through the wars, and it was proper ragged dorsal fin, a few scars on it. Yeah, so we like fish like that. Might go again, but to be honest, I'm losing the light and I won't be able to show you guys. So I've started packing everything away, fishing pretty much off the barrow anyway. Just got to pack the bag away, and yeah, we'll be packed up. And seeing as today's gone so well, I was going to come back here tomorrow, but I might actually go and try something different and go and do a bit of canal carping as well. It's nice to use this place just to get a few bites. I've always had the ticket for here, so it's not something that I'm going to really campaign on. It's just nice to come here and get some action, which is exactly what we've done today. So yeah, happy days. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you guys are getting out now after lockdown, I really do hope that you have a mega time on the bank. So yeah, remember, we have got a Facebook group, so if you catch any of them special fish, or any fish you catch, or if you just want to talk about fishing, join the group and just, yeah, get posting in there. So happy days. Right, I will see you guys in the next video.